Hey, you all. I'm just going to come on a minute early. Welcome in. I just wanted to continue our conversation. Welcome into episode 16 of Unplugged, Buzz Unplugged, where we are talking about the disappearance of Amy Bradley on the cruise ship many, many years ago. There was a Netflix documentary out that we watched, that we discussed as a group. I recommended to you. We discussed it, we talked about it, and now Amy's brother Brad Bradley is giving interviews and updates. Before we get into it, I'm going to refer to the chat. Yes, you all, we are talking about the Sebastian Rogers case. We had an amazing live last night. Dog the Bounty Hunter and Nick the Hat joined us in the chat. You're right. It is getting quite scary. There's a lot of hot spots, areas of interest. Hi, Cece. Hey, Roxy. We're just chatting about Sebastian for a second as people come in. So, yeah, those hotspot areas are really concerning. And I hadn't told you in the live last night that Don and Candace had been spotted in Springdale, Arkansas, until someone in the chat told you. So, yes, absolutely. Proudfoots are in Springdale, Arkansas. That was my contribution because I found them. And then Candace and Don are in Springdale, Arkansas, periodically at a motel. So, and apparently there is relation between them. There's some sort of C. Bowersox and Don Wells are some sort of distant cousins. So, hello, Whispering Winds. We were already talking about you this morning. Tomorrow's your day, my friend. We're so excited for you. I have chills, and Minnie's having a little bit of a rough morning today from a birthday of a loss. And we've got Robin. Robin did send me a link, and I haven't had a chance to look at it yet this morning. She sent it this morning, so I'll let you know when we can all watch that together. Hi, Tracy. Yes, so I'm really glad Dog and Nick came in last night, and we're chatting with you all and us. I think it's important that you all see that they are absolutely on it. They are the ones who have uncovered Springdale. They're the ones who have been looking at all these areas that they put forth to you. I do know one of my wonderful subscribers has someone who lives and teaches near Springdale, Arkansas, and they have already sent Sebastian and Summers pictures and information to that teacher and asking them to keep their eyes open and spread the photos around. So God bless you. Thank you, Sebastian's Army, Summers Army. So yes, we all need to stay safe. Oh, that's a good way to do it. How do I do that? Be kind. If you're in the chat, we're talking about getting a phone number generated online and things. We're just chatting in the chat a little bit. Thank you, mods, for being here. I know it's a little bit earlier than normal. Minnie says, Teach, I know you have dogs. Please get a nug nug. Wait, it just flipped. Sorry, hold on. Yes, I've got cameras. I'm covered, my friend, but thank you. Hello, Roxy. So we are going to be talking today. I'm sorry, we're just in Unplugged, which is a little bit more relaxed if you're joining us for the first time. Unplugged is where we kind of unplug from the current cases and look at some other things going on or topics and chat a little bit with each other. You've been with this man for 22 years, Be Kind? Wow, amazing. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We are here for Miss Amy Bradley. Her picture is on the thumbnail. Amy went on a cruise with her family. You've been with this one for 22. Wow. Oh, hold on, y'all. We're going to go back in. Roxy, I had just been receiving calls last month from the Springdale, Arkansas area, Kentucky, Tennessee border. And I just, now that I released to you last night, those are some areas of concern. I'm just trying, and plus I had some hacking going on. So just trying to be as, diligent and safe as we all can be. And what a sad conversation to have when we're all just trying to find a child and there's monsters trying to keep people from finding children. And I just can't wait till they cuff them. This is just getting unbelievably connected, in my opinion, between the two cases. And then we have Summer Wells, the sheriff from Summer Wells case, I found has a home now as of March of 2024. Right after Sebastian went missing, he has a home, a deed at a home in Sumner County. Yeah. So it's all a little wild, my friends, and they are connecting, in my opinion, and some of the things both sets of parents say, which is jaw-dropping to hear it from one, but to hear it from two, they're talking, in my opinion. Tracy said the Sebastian case goes very deep. Yes, and I do believe Summers does as well. I do. I do. I do. I think that the kids were Cece, they are. They are. They are. People are going crazy right now. They're not. Well, okay. And you know what? We're talking about Amy Bradley. This happened decades ago, and their family is getting hate and everything. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I do. I have about, honest to goodness, I probably have 60 family members here. So I'm good. I'm golden. And I want you all to stay safe too. Don't respond to emails of anyone you don't know. Don't, if you see a number, look up Arkansas, look up certain areas. If you see numbers coming in your phone that you don't know from those areas, do not answer them, please. And the hate is real. I mean, it happened in Summer's case. We had so much hate. Sebastian's case. We've got the Bradley family who's getting hate from the internet. They are actually criticizing them for still living where they live and not moving out of country where Amy's lost. And Brad, who's out doing interviews now, he said, tell us where we'd go and we'll go. He said, we don't know. Would we move to St. Lucia? Would we move to Aruba? Would we move to Curacao, where they noticed when they were getting ready to dock, when they noticed Amy was not around? Barbados? And to say that to them, and then they say, well, where would we go? Because they don't know where Amy is. One thing I will tell you is the Netflix documentary has spurred Amy's story to the headlines again. Internet is going crazy over her story again, and that is phenomenal. We do need to keep putting Amy's story out there, please. The family has said that there is not, and I want you to hear this because this is what I say about Sebastian. And excuse me, I have a little sniffles today. The family said there is no evidence whatsoever that they have come across that Amy is deceased. So they are operating on the intention that Amy is still with us and waiting for them to save her. That broke my heart. That broke my heart. One second, I want to pull. And they said that, now this has been going on, by the way, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Amy's case, let me go ahead and give you a quick background. March of 1998, Amy boarded the Rhapsody of the Seas with her family. Her parents had won a cruise through work, and they were given permission to bring their children, Amy and Brad. They boarded in March of 1998, and they were having a wonderful time. They all shared one cabin. And the last time they saw Amy, they had all been out. They had been at the disco, or Brad and Amy had been at the disco, I believe. They had been out. The family had had a good time. They were all in the room around 4 a.m. Brad and Amy were out on the patio having a drink, smoking some cigarettes, talking. And he said he loved her, and he went in. And when they all woke up, all that was on the patio was Amy's sandals. Her card key to the room was missing, her ID, her cigarettes, and her lighter, but her sandals were still there. So Amy's family went to they looked all over for her. The dad left the room, started looking for her. When he woke up before the others and didn't see her, he just thought she was out and about on the ship, so he went to go see her. They couldn't find Amy. Excuse me. Alcoholic, I was just telling them. I thanked you. I think it was before you got in here, and I didn't even get a chance to say, I don't think, hello to you last night. Last night was a great live. We had a lot of people in the live. Dog and Nick were with us too. And we also talked about the Cleveland 3 girls, because you never give up hope. After 10 years, those girls were found minutes from their homes. So Amy Bradley, they were looking for her. And if you watch the Netflix documentary, the cruise ship director who was so very rude in that documentary, unbelievably rude, saying things like, well, what do they want us to do? Other people go missing. We got to cruise. He was very rude. And when someone's got a missing person, you're not rude. But what happened is they realized Amy was missing. They were looking all over for her. They went to the ship personnel and they said, please stop, don't port in Curacao. We can't find our daughter. And which would make sense, right? Because if you're in an enclosed ship and you're looking for someone, if you don't open the doors and go to a port for everyone to get off, you have hope to find what was contained in the ship. Your daughter. Where is she hiding? Where does someone have her? What could be going on? They did not get that opportunity because the cruise ship refused to let Amy missing affect the plans for the trip, because they were worried about the other guests. As a matter of fact, the first thing they asked the ship is to make an all call on the ship for Amy. The ship personnel refused to do that too, because they said it was too early in the morning. People were vacationing and they did not want to wake up the other guests or alarm them. So they went ahead. They docked in Curacao. Everyone started getting off. And think about how many people she could have been taken off in a suitcase. We don't know. But they don't know now because they did dock, right? If they hadn't have docked and searched that entire ship top to bottom before they docked in Curacao, they would have known if Amy had been on that ship before they got to Curacao. Because one of the things was, they said one of the theories is she jumped overboard because her sandals were right there on her balcony. Now, if they had not docked in Curacao, they would have known if Amy had jumped overboard, in my opinion, because they would have kept the ship in the waters, searched every inch of that ship before they let anyone off, and known she was not on it anywhere. So it's very heartbreaking story. Here we are. It was 1998. We're 27 years down the road, and the family is still looking for their daughter, their sister. Very, very sad story, but it's in the Netflix documentary has brought it to the forefront again. And Brad is doing interviews and he shared some information with us. And I'm going to share it with you. Cece says, when I got this notification, I was reading about the 18-year-old who was found unalived on the cruise ship cabin last week. Yes, we did a live on it. Were you in the live, Cece? That's crazy. Are there any updates on her? I'll have to check for updates. Anna Hepner. Last weekend, the ship came in from the Southern Caribbean, I believe she was on, and docked in Miami. And little Anna Kepner, 18 years old, came out in a body bag. They do not know what happened. We did find out that during our live, I think we found out at 11:17 a.m., she was pronounced dead Friday morning, deceased, unalived, excuse me. Sorry, YouTube. Unalived not unalived. She was no longer with us, 11:17 a.m. on Friday, a week ago today. And they did get back to Miami as planned, but a little bit later. What happened to Anna was they don't know yet. They don't have a cause of death or anything. But what they did do is they did guard her room till they docked in Miami, probably in case it was a crime scene. The cruise ship did call Anna's death mysterious, and as the passengers were getting off in Miami, the FBI was boarding. So, yes, her parents are waiting for answers. She was on board with her dad and her grandparents and other family members, is what I know. I'm not sure. Some of you have asked about mom. I don't know about mom yet. I don't. I do know she went to a private school. They had a memorial in the parking lot for her last weekend, and they were putting flowers and balloons on her car. Just a heartbreaking story. I hope we have answers soon. I hope it's a natural death. She was graduating in May, Anna Kepner, and going to join the military, a straight A student. So to me, I'm thinking, well, her health was good. She had already taken some tests for the military. So I'm thinking her health was good. Now, one of the things I'm going to share with you today is Brad Bradley talks about a few changes that need to take place on cruises. Now, when we did the live last week for Anna this past week, we found out there were morgues and jails on cruises. Okay, I've been on 5 cruises. I'd never dawned on me there was a morgue there, right? You worked on Carnival, Roxy? Roxy says, I worked on cruise ship Carnival for 6 months. I had a band. I enjoyed it so much. We went to and from the Bahamas. That sounds like such an amazing life, Roxy. That is so cool. I guess I had an uncle who worked on a cruise ship too. He used to sing and perform decades ago. So let's get to some of the information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up some of the information real quick from Brad. I have 2 different shows I watched. So basically, he said in one of the what I watched said, he said, this is like after the Netflix. Sorry if I'm stumbling over my words a little bit. Tired today. He said that this Netflix documentary has brought Amy to the forefront with the media, the internet, the news, everything. And he's very busy answering tips, contacting legislatures, things like that, legislators. Very busy. He said it's very reminiscent of the first few months after Amy went missing. And that's got to be tough for the family, right? Very reminiscent of what it was like right after she went married, right now. And they're asking us not to let it die down. So please share this video, share Amy's story, if you will, share her picture. They don't want this to die down again. Some other big event happening and Amy gets pushed back a little bit. So let's keep talking about Amy. But he said it's just been, they've had thousands and thousands of tips since Netflix show from everywhere. And they are trying to categorize all the tips. Brad has been working on it. He has 6 or 7 other people who are helping him work on it. He said he can't speak, but they have several different things, enough to follow up and investigate. Their eyes are also on Barbados right now, but they can't tell us what's going on. That's such a great question. If you're in the bushes, we have Be Kind to Everyone has our bachelorette for the day. This is we should have done a little bachelorette party for you. Oh my goodness. But that's a good question. I don't think they have done an age progression on Amy. I have not seen one. Now, do you think Amy jumped? Give me a 1 if you think Amy jumped. Give me a 1 if you think Amy jumped, and I'm going to keep talking and I'll come back to it. Give me a 2 if you think someone did something. Someone's involved. Now, remember when we went over Amy's case. So Amy disappeared. I want to give a little recap. They woke up, Amy was gone, so they docked in Curacao. They could not find Amy anywhere on the ship, anywhere at all. So they found out from a mother and daughter who had been on the ship that they had seen Amy coming out of like the disco, dressed in out of the disco in her yellow shirt with one of the cruise workers. His nickname is Yellow. So if you hear me say yellow, we're talking about one of the cruise workers. His daughter also came forward. It was a strange interview. She didn't seem to have much information, just that her father acted, she was a little girl, and her mother remembers her father acting very strangely when he returned from that cruise. And that is Yellow's daughter. So but they did convene a grand jury, was convened in July of 2001 to investigate the disappearance of Amy. And what happened was an eyewitness, Elizabeth Lewis, testified before the grand jury that morning she saw Amy in the early hours before she disappeared. And that the next day when she was in the lounge, a girl came out from behind the Viking Lounge where Amy was last seen, that Viking Lounge. It's not a disco, excuse me, Viking Lounge. A girl came out from behind the bar saying, "Senorita kidnapped." And then the bartender moved her away and behind the bar. The reason that is significant is Brad Bradley wants to, hi Maria, Brad Bradley wants to clarify something. They do not know where she is. Okay, an article came out saying they had identified her. The Bradley family knew who she was and had identified her and found her. They have not. So one thing I want to tell you about is he has to discredit something. They have not been able to find Elizabeth Lewis, the third eyewitness who testified before the grand jury that she saw Amy in yellow come off the elevator from inside the Viking Lounge. Later the following day, or day after Amy's disappearance, Elizabeth Lewis said she went back into the Viking Lounge and a young girl came from behind the bar yelling, "Senorita kidnap." The bartender, who they have found and denies everything, basically forced Elizabeth Lewis back behind the bar away from where others were sitting. Now, the article saying she has come forward and spoken to investigators, they don't think there's any truth to it. They don't know who she is and where she is. The family doesn't know who she is or where she is. Now, I'm thinking he's talking about post grand jury. There was also an AI YouTube video that echoed the claim that they knew where she was and she had come forward. Now, one thing I want to tell you all, because I have had, those AI videos. There is one that keeps coming out saying they found Summer. Summer's dad has confessed. I received several emails from y'all when that one came out. That those are AI and they are not true. So when you see those where it says Summer was found or something like that, or so go to National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and see if they are found. Summer's, that's the best thing because those AI articles are very misleading. Someone just asked that. Let me Google that for you. Someone's asking again, have they done an age progression of Amy? Let me check. Yes. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Here she is. Thank you for saying that because you're right. We did see that in the thank you whispering. I'm just going to call you Donna. Thank you, Donna. Let me go ahead and get this. Let's see. Here it is. This is what they think Amy might look like at age 42. I'm just going to leave it up there for a second. Oh, wow. Just said watch live now on
Sorry.
well, we'll
We're
talk
going
about
live
it.
today on Instagram.
Okay, forget it. Anyway, that is the age progression of Amy Bradley at age 42. Let me see if they have any others. Wow. So if you see this person, this is Amy. Look at her. It just breaks my heart. Oops. So there's two of them, and here's another one with a different hairstyle. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm not sharing it. There's Amy with a little longer hair. And that would be how old she was in her 40s. So let me see something. Hold on one second. I'm going to look something up for you regarding that photo. Hold on. I love Unplugged because we're a little bit more relaxed here, aren't we? You knew there was one. Be kind. You're just sweet to me and just helping me out a little bit. Okay. So this was when she was 42. She went missing at 23 on March 24th, 1998. So who's my math people? You know, I'm language arts and English. 98, 2008, 2018, 2028. So that's 27 years. Yeah. So 27 years, right? Am I right? 27 years? And if she was 23, how would she be 40? That's that, or 42. It would be well, so this is Amy in her 40s. Okay. Let me give you some more information. They are looking in Barbados, is where they think the family does believe she is alive because there's been nothing to show she isn't with us. And that's what I keep saying about Sebastian. Because what we watched yesterday on our live was three girls who had been kidnapped, kept in a basement. After our Sebastian show, we transferred over to the Cleveland Three Girls because it's important. We can't give up hope. Those three girls were minutes from home in a basement of someone the families had interacted with, seen, knew, even took a flyer from for over 10 years. One mother passing by there constantly to go to her appointments. And the girls were in the basement. And they were found. One escaped, ran into the arms of Charles Ramsey. We listened to him yesterday, and they couldn't believe it. These three girls, 10 years. So you can't give up hope, not for Sebastian, not for Summer, not for Amy. Oh, Roxy, you're going to be driving and listening? Thank you. Be safe. So another thing they've been dealing with is trying to get information. Let me pull this up again. Just trying to get information from the FBI. And we know about it's hard for them. They want the case. They want the case files. The case files have never been given to them from the FBI. They want them so they can see what they have done, what they didn't do, and what the family needs to pick up for at that point. It's been a struggle. They're very disappointed in the FBI team that has been on the case. They said they don't want to generalize and say they're disappointed completely with FBI all around, but the team that was assigned to Amy's case, they're very disappointed with. It's sad when remember we have Jonathan who's missing. His family's had trouble with law enforcement. Daniel Robinson's father, David, had trouble, law enforcement helping him. Seth Rogers has had trouble, law enforcement helping him. We shouldn't be going through this. Law enforcement should be doing everything they should do and are paid to do, wearing their badges to find the missing. When we have so many families frustrated, and you know what? I know also part of it can be it's never enough until your child's home. But when you have families specifically saying and I'm not saying this is in Amy's case, they've lied to me, like Seth said, or we're not getting information, there's no communication, there's no follow through. There is no excuse for that. Think about you in your career. I, as a teacher, if I had gone to work, no follow through, no communication, treating parents like poopy, I would have been fired. Cece says she found an app to do age progression on anyone like your child. Goes from birth to old age. I think it's around $1 per phone. Apple advertised it. Oh, interesting. That's really cool, Cece. Yes, the Cleveland 3 girls, I mean, the mother said, "I knew it. I knew she was alive." And that there's so many parents and mothers especially, Katie Proudfoot, that have such a connection to their child, obviously most of us do, that they can feel, they say they can feel they're still with us, and then when they bring them home, they're like, "I told you." So don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay. Brad Bradley wants to clarify. I'm going to look up that app though, Cece. Thank you. Brad Bradley wants to clarify that another article came out stating, another AI article again, stating that there was another girl who was ST'd and spent time with Amy, and she came forward and said she knew Amy, and Amy had given her silver college ring from Longwood in a box. Brad says he doesn't believe that. Okay, that's not accurate. Okay. He said they get the parents' ages wrong in these articles, but that's not true. He said that he's debunking that. There was not someone who spent time with Amy that had her ring. So those stories, imagine what they do to the families. Let's see. Since the documentary, Chris Fenwick, the video editor, the video editor, remember he kept there was footage of Amy dancing in the Viking Lounge late at night in the early hours of the morning with Yellow, the cruise employee. Chris Fenwick, the video editor, his videographer is the one who shot the footage of Amy and Yellow dancing in the Viking Lounge. He documented his written explanation, ton of events and things. So Amy's family was really surprised because the ship's editor, Chris Fenwick was a video editor. The ship's editor, Steve Smith, came to him and asked him to scrub any images of Amy from the tapes. I'll repeat that. A video editor named Chris Fenwick was on the ship. He caught footage of Amy in Yellow in the Viking Lounge dancing, and the ship editor, Steve Smith, went to Chris and asked him to scrub any images of Amy from his tips. In Brad's opinion, that was so not to show her with any crew members and cause liability problems. Chris Fenwick, since then, found Steve Smith to talk about it. And he said, "You remember that morning you were and I was editing and you asked me to scrub out Amy of the videos?" And he wouldn't acknowledge it. Okay. Now, our famous cruise director, who was a total you-know-what in the documentary, I don't know if he thought that was his moment of fame and he was going to act that way or that's his normal personality. But the moment he opened his mouth, I didn't like him. Talking about, well, we're all on vacation. A missing goes missing. Yeah, that's sad, but we got a vacation. you know, the cruise director, and as Brad Bradley called him, everyone's favorite cruise director because he's just rubbed the world the wrong way. Since they found that out about scrubbing of the videos, Brad went on X and called him out on it. And he hasn't responded, and there have been multiple attempts to contact him, the cruise director. Oscar Alexander. You'll hear Brad Bradley if you go back and listen to Brad's interviews. Oscar Alexander was Alistair Douglas's roommate. Alistair is who we call Yellow. Yellow is the one who was spending time with Amy. Hi, Jen. Good to see you. Oscar Alexander, Yellow's roommate, was quiet for 27 years. 27 years. But about 6 months after Yellow did an interview, Yellow gives false statements in timelines. So Yellow and Oscar decided they should give a statement. And Oscar decided he should give a statement. So Oscar says what he says was all in line with what his roommate said, Yellow. Shocker, right? So he decided to give a statement when things were coming out. After Yellow's interview, he was quiet for 27 years, but then when Yellow gave an interview, he decided to come out and give a statement, and everything he said aligned with what Yellow said. Hi, Reba. We're here for Amy Bradley, who went missing on the cruise ship in 1998. There's been a Netflix documentary for those of you coming in, and new information from Brad Bradley, her brother. We're talking about 25 years or more down the road since 1998, and they're still searching for Amy. What you're seeing on the screen is an age progression of Amy at age 42. They also have one of her with short hair. Let me pull that one up. Ooh, that's the wrong one. Ooh.
Bradley. Amy disappeared 20
Hold on,
years ago
guys.
this month while vacationing with her parents and
Two things
brother on
playing.
a
Hold
Royal
on.
Caribbean International Cruise Liner Rhapsody of the Seas.
Somewhere between Aruba and Curacao, Netherlands, Antilles.
I don't know what's playing.
Special
Hold on.
Agent Aaron Sheridan says just a few days into the trip, on March 23, 1998, Amy and her brother had a night out.
So that evening, Amy was out at the disco with her brother, other
Hold
passengers
on, guys.
and
I'm
crew,
trying.
socializing and having a great time. In the morning, when her parents and her brother woke, Amy was gone.
Amy's brother Brad was the last family member to see her.
Hey, y'all. I don't know what's playing right now. Hold on. Can you hear it?
Sadness, but the last thing that I ever said to Amy was I love you before I went to sleep that night. Knowing that that's the last thing I said to her has always been very comforting to me.
Investigators say...
Okay. Sorry about that. Let me pull that back up. That's an FBI article on Amy that I would like to share with you. Hi, Reba. Sorry, y'all. I hit the wrong button. We will get to it. I don't know where I had that. Oh, no. I just had the great thing I wanted to share with you. Here it is. Okay. This is what I want to share with you. Let me make sure you're seeing it. You're not seeing it yet. Okay. I'm going to share the FBI story on Amy Bradley for those of you who missed our first Unplugged about Amy. This is credit to the FBI.
This is Amy Lynn Bradley. The talented basketball player and college graduate disappeared while on a family vacation when she was just 23 years old. It happened on a Royal Caribbean International Cruise Liner Rhapsody of the Seas somewhere between Aruba and Curacao, Netherlands, Antilles. Special Agent Aaron Sheridan says just a few days into the trip, on March 23, 1998, Amy and her brother had a night out.
So that evening, Amy was out at the disco with her brother, other passengers and crew, socializing and having a great time. In the morning, when her parents and her brother woke, Amy was gone.
Amy's brother Brad was the last family member to see her.
Myself and my parents have had to endure a lot of sadness, but the last thing that I ever said to Amy was I love you before I went to sleep that night. Knowing that that's the last thing I said to her has always been very comforting to me.
Investigators say so many details of Amy's night out remains a mystery. A reward of up to $25,000 is available for information leading to the resolution of Amy's case.
If you have any information, whether it be that you are a passenger or a crew member, we ask that you come forward. The smallest detail could assist us in finding out what happened to Amy.
These are age-progressed photographs of what Amy could look like today. Amy has several tattoos, including a sun, a gecko lizard, and a Tasmanian devil spinning a basketball. Report tips to your local FBI office, nearest American embassy or consulate. You can also send information to tips.fbi.gov. Tips can be anonymous. With Wanted by the FBI, I'm Molly Halpern of the Bureau. Amy disappeared 20 years ago this month while vacationing with her parents and brother on a Royal Caribbean International cruise liner Rhapsody of the Seas. FBI Special Agent Aaron Sheridan says a few days into the trip, somewhere between Aruba and Curacao, Netherlands Antilles, Amy and her brother went to a disco.
By the morning of March 24th, 1998, her parents go and try to search for her, and she's nowhere to be found.
Many details of Amy's night out.
Notice in that shot right there, which is why I went back to it, you're not seeing who she's dancing with. Where we had seen in footage, she was dancing with Yellow. So let's get back to what Yellow, let me get her pictures up here again, Amy's. We're going to get back to what Yellow was saying. Okay. Reba just said, 8 years later, after my brother Roger Dale Douglas went missing in 2001, and he hasn't been seen since. He was 48 at the time he went missing. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that, Reba. Where was he when he went missing? Was he on a cruise? Or where was he, my friend? Oh, I just got chills and I'm so sorry. So sorry you've not found him. He was 48. Oh my goodness. Have you, well, tell me what area he went missing in, if you don't mind. Nashville. Oh goodness. Nashville. Oh goodness. I'm sorry. It was Tennessee. What county? Please don't tell me Sumner County. Is Nashville's not Sumner County, right? No, I don't think so. Okay, well, I want to hear what county, Reba, if you know. So here's what Yellow's roommate said when he finally made the statement. And yes, his statements aligned with Yellow, Alistair. He said that Amy and Yellow did meet up that night. Davison County. Okay, thank you. I'm praying for you and that he's found. Never give up hope, hon. So much sadness in this world. I'm really sorry, my friend, and I'm glad you shared with us, Reba. I'm going to look into it, actually. So, he says Amy and Yellow met that night and they talked. And this is Yellow's roommate, Alistair's roommate talking, Oscar. He said they talked. Amy came up and I came up and they requested some songs. All true, is what Brad's saying. They were requesting songs. After midnight, after their set was done, they packed up and both were home in their room in their apartment by 1 a.m. This is where Brad says there's a problem. Yellow's key card didn't show he entered his room till 3:35 a.m. Yellow told Brad the following morning he was with Amy until 3:30, but Oscar's saying they were both in their room at 1 a.m. Now, Oscar says they were both in at 1, but when security knocked on their room at 3 to 4 to search for her, he says, okay, let's stop there. Oscar says they were both in the room at 1 when security came on the door of the room and knocked at 3 to 4 a.m. to search for Amy. Amy was not noticed missing at that time. So the story is not true from the roommate. Yellow said at 7 a.m. a hotel manager called their room then. Okay, so here's interesting. 1 a.m. he claims he and Alistair Yellow went back to their room. When Yellow had said he was with Amy till 3:30, Oscar says they went back to the room at 1. Security came looking for Amy between 3 and 4. Amy wasn't even missing at that time. She wasn't missing until after 7 a.m. Then Yellow says at 7 a.m. a hotel manager called their room. Well, it was after 7 a.m. when she was reported missing, when they realized she was missing. So these stories are not accurate. And in security reports that they have, the ship chief security officer didn't even tell the hotel manager until 9 a.m. So how did he call their room at 7 a.m. telling them about Amy's disappearance? How did he know 2 hours earlier? So the question is, it's either a fib in my head, or there's something going on that cruise ship, and they're covering, in my opinion. Because the hotel manager, if indeed made those phone calls, then they knew before Amy's family knew that Amy was missing. If indeed cruise security knocked on their Yellow and Oscar's room between 3 and 4 a.m., they knew before Amy's family knew that Amy was missing. Then Yellow, Alistair, the one who was hanging out with Amy, he's done interviews on CNN, Brad said, and he says they called the room at 6 a.m. So there's a lot of misinformation going on. And all this family wants to do is find their family member, Amy Lynn Bradley. Also, he did say there's rumors out there that Amy had a child. He said they have nothing to substantiate that. We saw that in the Netflix documentary where they tried to, she said, can I see the kids? He said there's nothing to substantiate that she has a child. So they now have bands of people helping track down leads, checking things out. They're actively working on a couple of things in Barbados, and it's on the forefront for them right now. Barbados. There are so many islands and so many unnamed islands. They said that the search could go everywhere. They don't know where, but there's so many islands out there and there's so many unnamed islands. So they believe the only way they're going to find Amy is if someone talks. They think several people know something. So please continue to talk about Amy. Share her age progressions. Share her original photos from when she went missing in case someone saw her then. Amy was born in 1974. What people are concerned about, well, what Brad said is we are one share away from the right person receiving it and coming forward. So please share Amy's story. The pressure is mounting in this case. They have been going to legislators, trying to get legislators and stuff, trying to get federal involvement, some other assistance. One thing that people are worried about is as the pressure mounts and it becomes high profile again, will the people who have Amy take it out on Amy And he said, I know. He said, we hear that and we worry about it, but what can we do? If she's alive, she's waiting for us to rescue her. Just so heartbreaking. Apparently, the mother and father are, the mother, and I'll have to look up the father. He mentioned the mother. His mother's back to her exercising routine, which I'm so glad, right? I'm glad she's getting back to it. But there's not a day goes by where they're not trying to think and find Amy Lynn Bradley, who was last seen March 24th, 1988 on the Rhapsody of the Seas with that wonderful cruise director who treated it like, someone had a hangnail instead of acting respectfully. And even all these decades later, when he's interviewed on that documentary, he is an absolute, and I'm going to say it because I have an opinion, jerk. So the fact that one thing also Brad said, is he heard that people do bad things on their ships, crimes, the employees, and they're not reported. They're just released. And then they go to another ship. So we got to change those maritime laws, those ship laws too. And he talked a lot about that this time. What he did say is they are working on St. Lucia, Barbados, Aruba, and Curacao. Several people know something. Amy's cigarettes, lighter, ID, and key card, and Amy were not there, but her sandals were. The misinformation from employees on the ship obviously is suspect. And let's see what else. Oh, September 4th, they went to DC and met with Senator Grassley's team. They presented their case and asked for certain things. He didn't want to talk about the things they were asking. Since then, they have sent communication internally to the federal level. So this is what should happen. And I recommend this to Seth Rogers too. They went to a senator, presented the case to the senator, and the senator is now communicating internally on a federal level to the Department of Justice. They're sending letters, FBI, and Department of Homeland Security. The officials, okay? That's the help we need when law enforcement doesn't help. So I wish we could get Seth. We know Don and Candace for summer aren't going to do that. They don't even call they haven't even called the police in over a year. Remember, he said at the last interview. Let's see here. Letters to DOJ. Okay, so they want the case file from the FBI. They want to see what gaps they can fill in, what needs to be done, and quite frankly, what they didn't do. They feel they're not giving it to them because they don't want them to see what they haven't done. Sound familiar? They want the grand jury transcripts from the 2001 grand jury that was convened to try and investigate her disappearance. And that's when the girl came forward, remember, and said that, let me pull it up. The girl in the grand jury had come forward. What in the world did she say? I'm so sorry. I don't have that right here. Hold on. Let me pull it back up. Well, you could tell it's early for me today. Elizabeth Lewis is the one who testified, the third eyewitness in the grand jury, who said she saw Amy and Yellow coming off the elevator from inside the Viking Lounge. They have not been able to find her. It is not true that the family knows where she is. She also said the following day she went into the Vikings Lounge and a bartender came out of behind the bar screaming, "Senorita, kidnap." The bartender grabbed her, put her behind the bar, and he denies it all. He denies it all, my friends. So they went to senators trying to get help, trying to get movement. They want some federal level. They want federal level involvement. They want the case FBI file. They want the grand jury transcripts. The grand jury was called by the U.S. attorney, is the one that called the grand jury. Remember when I suggested in Sebastian's case that we call the U.S. attorney for Middle Tennessee McGuire? Because Nancy Grace recommended people do that for Ellen Greenberg because there's obviously corruption and cover-ups going on in Ellen's case. So she said, I've never thought I'd have to say this in my career. Don't call the police. Don't call the DA. Call the U.S. attorney. Well, they've done that. And guess what? The U.S. attorney is working with them. So I gave you guys the name of Robert McGuire, Sebastian's U.S. attorney. We need to contact him too, because their U.S. attorney is the one who called the grand jury. We wouldn't have to wait for a DA if we can get a U.S. attorney to call the grand jury. We wouldn't have to wait for any of those DAs. Jen says, hold on. Jen says, need help. Can you text or call soon, please? Yes, my friend. I'll email you, Jen. So he doesn't even know, the Bradley family doesn't even know if the FBI is still investigating. They heard from a lead agent 98 days after they spoke to him about setting up a meeting, and the meeting never got scheduled and still hasn't. Lacking follow-through and communication on this case, and it's been very disappointing to the family. He said, for instance, now they have a new FBI agent on it. One was promoted and one agent was promoted. So when they were talking about two ladies in matching outfits the night before to the FBI agent, two African-American ladies, the agent said, what two African-American ladies? What two black ladies? So he has a lot to catch up on the case now. So it's really disappointing, you all, that they don't have more follow through and communication. Hand the darn files over to the family who is investigating, who does have a team. If the FBI needs to close the case, they said, let them close it. We'll reopen it. We'll do what we need to do. So apparently Amy was talking to two black ladies in matching outfits the night before. The FBI agents had identified them, but didn't tell the Bradley family who they were. And now the new agent says to them, what two black ladies? So you can imagine the family's frustration. Amy's missing. They want to know what happened. They are working diligently still. They have not ever stopped. The cruise line, this was interesting what he said. He said that we need to change some laws with the cruise lines, obviously. And it was really interesting, the things he brought up, because he said that, let me pull that up. Pull it back up. Oh, sorry. Let me find out what he was talking about, because there's he said that, sorry, y'all, I'm looking for it. The maritime laws make it very hard. And one thing I didn't know, he said most of the ships are headquarters are in the United States, but they fly flags from other countries, even though they're headquartered in the United States. He said the reason that is concerning is the flag that they're flying is the flag, the country of jurisdiction if something happens on the cruise. So Brad wants to get it changed. Brad's family thinks it needs to be changed, that if you are a cruise ship and you are headquartered in the United States, you need to fly the United States flag. So the United States can have jurisdiction over the investigation. I thought that was really interesting that they're flying other countries' flags, maybe countries they're going to, etc., but not the U.S. And so therefore, It's not the U.S.'s jurisdiction as far as investigating a crime. Isn't that crazy? And he mentioned also security. Now, we talked about this. I told you, like, it's a city. There were 4,000. There's four, like Anna Kempner, who just passed away on the ship last weekend, the 18-year-old. There were 4,000 people, 1,500 staff members. That's 5,500 people all together, like in a little city moving. And all they have is cruise security. And it's cruise security. So that's not, in my opinion, it's bias. So if you've got a cruise member who's done something to Amy and you have cruise security and you want to cover for the cruise employee, it makes it much easier because you don't have independent security on the ship, independent of the cruise line. So I totally agree with the Bradley family. Absolutely need to get independent security on the, I mean, even law enforcement. They're not even law enforcement officers. They're security guards. So I totally agree with Brad Bradley that they absolutely need independent security on those ships. Because you don't want to rely on cruise ship security, because what if what if it's someone liable to the cruise and they don't want that liability, so they cover it up, they make it go away, they port in Curacao and let everything go on as expected. Jen says, what's up with YouTube? I don't know. What's going on, Jen? I'm not sure. Jen, I will reach out to you in a little bit. Okay. So Amy Lynn Bradley is still missing. Her family loves her very much, wants her home. We have cruise ship employees telling different stories, telling that they were knocking on their door at 3 to 4 a.m. Security was looking for Amy. That's not true unless the cruise knew she was missing before the family. 7 a.m. they claim, and 6 a.m. they called their room. Alistair called Yellow and Oscar's room looking for Amy. Well, can't be true. Amy was noticed missing after 7, and the hotel manager couldn't be calling their room at 6 a.m. and 7 when he wasn't told till 9. Something's fishy in the seas. Sometimes YouTube shakes. Interesting. I don't know. It's not happening on my end. Please share this video so we can remind people that Amy Lynn Bradley is still missing. These are age progression photos of what Amy would look like today. Her family very much wants to find her. And if you happen to be on the islands, Aruba, St. Lucia, Curacao, Barbados, anywhere, keep your eyes open for Amy because they don't know where Amy is. And there has been no proof of death. Hi, Robin. I got your email. Thank you. I haven't opened it yet, but thank you so much. And Reba, we're so sorry about your brother. I took a screenshot of his name and I'm going to look into it for you. I just want to kind of poke around for you. And Robin, I'm going to be looking at what you sent me because dear Robin's appeal was yesterday for her sweet baby, Nicole. And we're going to read and see what happened in that appeal yesterday. Jen says she can't change the live chat. Well, we're seeing you chat live. You're chatting right now in the live. I don't know. But thank you, Robin. We will get to that. And I want to watch it for you and see what I take from it. And then we'll bring it to the community. Okay. So everyone, please have a wonderful day today. I am not sure if I'm going to be on tonight or not regarding Sebastian Rogers. I have some family things I have to do today, and they may take a little bit longer. But if not, I will be on tomorrow. So have a wonderful day. Happy Friday. I will be putting out a true crime recommendation for those of you who like to watch the documentaries and the drama docs. For those of you in here, I will tell you my recommendation this week is going to be Devil in Disguise, the story of John Wayne Gacy, serial killer of young men, young boys. There are 2 on Peacock. that are called Devil in Disguise. One is a docudrama and one is a documentary. And my brother said there is a wonderful show on Netflix about John Wayne Gacy. So I will post those in the community post. But for those of you here, hi, Elizabeth. For those of you here, you just got the info first. So John Wayne Gacy on Peacock, Devil in Disguise. You can watch the docudrama or the documentary or both. And there's also one on Netflix. So a lot of us can watch it now, whether you have Peacock or Netflix. And we will be bringing it forth to Unplugged to discuss. I still have to get to Ed Gein. I'm aware of that. And I hope you all have a very wonderful Friday. Stay safe. And Donna, may you have a blessed wedding and union tomorrow. We love you. We're thinking of you. And we can't wait to hear about your wedding and your honeymoon. Jen, I'll be in touch. Robin, I'll be in touch with you as well. Everyone have a blessed day. Talk soon, my friends. Amy Lynn Bradley is still missing. Let's help the family get answers. Please share this video. Thank you.